Alright, let's shuffle this over a little bit more and make sure we're good to go, because it does look like we've got video coming. And welcome everyone, to Workshop Wednesday, where I'm going to try a probably way too ambitious project, but we'll see how far we get. Today I'm going to start work on a laptop bag that folds out into a workspace. I came across this awesome video online, part of an Instructable, that's all about how to make, this is actually a design for a backpack, but I'm going to make it like a shoulder bag that contains your laptop and all its stuff, and basically you have all your stuff in it, but when you fold it out, it folds out into a flat workspace that you can work on. So I have my trusty hand-me-down sewing machine here, if we actually get to it. But we might not even actually get to any sewing tonight, because first I got to plan this out and design it. So let's move this off to the side for now. Oh, it weighs about 9,000 pounds. Uh-oh. 1 second. Something got moved around a little bit. My one of my screens just popped out. That's strange. Did I hold on. One moment. There we go. Just needed a minute to rearrange some things. Okay, good. So let's give us a little better look at our workspace here. Just move this down a bit. That's odd. Oh well, actually we can do the thing, can't we? Yeah. So here is our. I can get this to do the thing. Sorry. There. So here's our workspace. Well, let's work a little bit and figure some things out. So basically, I'm basing this off of these plans here. Oops. For this laptop bag. So it's basically two main pieces, the inside and the outside. The outside is made of a sort of leathery, suede material, and the inside is this kind of felty material, soft material, divided up into various pockets. And I'm going to basically be sewing 1-inch strips along each of those areas to serve as pockets. So we'll see how all that works, and then we'll add Velcro and zips and such to it. That's the basic idea. But first, I want to kind of lay this out and get an idea. So let's get our material. So here's our outside material. This is going to be the again the external surface of the material. Is this nice black stuff. So we'll have to figure that out and lay it out. And then here is the inside, which is this lovely kind of fleecy material, like we said, very soft. That's going to be the basis for stuff. I also have, besides Velcro and things, I was originally going to use a piece of cardboard for this. I'm probably going to use this chipboard from a glass screen protector, and it's basically this very hard cardboard, very thick cardboard. I think that I'm going to use a piece of this as basically a mouse pad. So this will be sewn into the bag on the side of one pocket, so that if I fold it out and I need a surface for a mouse, this will be, again, within the bag, but it'll be nice and flat and such. So we'll see what happens there. So first off, do I have chalk here? I know I have chalk somewhere. Let me grab some chalk. One moment. I think it's in the other. Up here? It's not up here. One moment. It's not there. Let me see if it's in the other room. One moment. sure enough, so here's some chalk, which is very useful for marking things out. I have very, very, very little experience. Why is this opening up? With sewing. This will be me just sort of playing around and seeing how far I get with this. Fortunately, since I'm not... Man, why is this up? Okay. Fortunately, because I don't have to wear this, I don't have to worry too much about that. Alright, so we have our fabric. Also, this seems like way too much fabric, but we'll see. So, I think I'm going to start with... Yeah, this is a little fuzzy. So let's start here. And just kind of lay a few things out and get a sense of what's going on. I'm going to put my plan then. I'm just going to measure some things so I have some sense of what I've got. And this is probably not the best place to do this. I'm going to do it on the floor. But, oh wow, this is... Nah. Okay, I need to unfold this a little bit more. Okay, there we go. This is the piece. This is a lot of material. But again, let me just get a sense. So according to this, we've got 30 centimeters, which is basically a foot. This is way too much material. Okay, it seems. So we have 30 centimeters for the first pocket, which is again basically a foot. And then a 7 centimeter allowance, and then a 40 centimeter section. So there's 30 plus 10, just to get a sense. Then another 8. So there's the 8. Then, wow, it's pretty big. Okay, I'm going to see the sense of this. And then another 30. So over to here. So we've got this much material. I don't know how you can see that. This much material here. For the back, in terms of length, and then it is 30 centimeters down, which is again another foot. That's where I've got. So that's the interesting thing, is that I've got like huge number of yards. I mean, it's very, yeah. So I'm gonna need like some chunk of this. I've got way too much material, but I'll use it for something else, I'm sure. Okay. That's that idea, and then we'll do the same thing with that. But we also are going to cut a bunch of 1 inch, or basically like 2 and a little bit of centimeters strips. We'll go all around the various sections of that for the pockets. Okay. Should I just start cutting that? I kind of feel like it. Alright, we have 13 plus, no, we have 30 plus, okay, yeah. Let me just do this. It's a nice soft material. Alright, where do we start? It's folded up kind of a little inconveniently for me. So I think I want... Yeah, I want it on this end. Okay. So let's just start measuring. And let me get my bag first. So I'm gonna basically cut out a rectangle with a bit of extra allowance just to make sure. So 30 inches, basically a foot for the first, 30 centimeters for the first. Then 7 centimeters allowance for the fold. Oops. I know you can't see this, that's okay. Then another 40 centimeters. So this plus this. Whoops. This. So there's the other 10. Then we need, let's see here. We need 8 centimeters. So to the 18 for the other flap. And then another 30 centimeters. So that's going to go to here. Now you may have heard a phrase, measure twice and cut once. I'm going to do that. So I just marked with chalk. There's where I think the end is, and I'm going to remeasure. So again, we have a foot for there, and then 7 centimeters, and then 40 centimeters. So that plus that. And there's 40 centimeters, so there's the edge of the bag. Then another 8 centimeters, and then another 30. And that is showing it to be quite a bit farther, so you see where this is versus the chalk. So I'm going to go ahead and mark actually a little bit even further out. I want plenty of allowance for that. If I have an extra, centimeter or two, that's fine. I can always cut it back. And then we want 30 centimeters. For the rest of it. And this has an edge. Kind of curly. Oh, it doesn't, actually. It just kind of curved and was folded over. Okay, fine. So again, I'm going to do an allowance. How much allowance does she suggest? Doesn't say. I actually need a fair amount of allowance, and I'm going to be cutting a lot of... Oh, we'll see. Okay. So, that's that. Again, I want some extra, so I'm just going to go down to here. And there. There we go. So, that's that. And then let me come down here to this other mark. I'm going to come down 30. I'm not really worried about it being... Actually, what I am going to do is... Where's my chalk? There it is. I'm going to make a mark there. And I'm going to make a mark... Is that from... Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah. I'm going to make a mark here. You can't see that, can you? Make a mark here. I'm going to make another mark in the middle. Right here. Okay. So I've now marked a bunch of different places, so I have an eye of where to go. And so for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to start cutting this. And so I'll have a piece. Now, again, double checking. This is 30 centimeters. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to cut this. Can I? 1 second. Let me play around a little bit. With the camera, I think. Nope. Alright. So let me just grab this. And I'm basically just going to cut from one... I need to change this camera angle. So we're going to do this. Yeah. So I'm just going to cut from this mark to that mark all the way down, and that should give me what I need. This should give me some extra allowance too. It's hard to... Okay, I need another mark. Just a this is a very awkward piece of material. Okay, so I'm kind of cutting in an awkward way because there's just all this material off here that's trying to fall off. Okay. So let me just cut from, and this is actually a little bit. This is always where I get nervous. Because you can't go back from here. You can always restart. But at this point, I'm committed. But then that's also, I suppose, part of the fun. Alright. Come on. Where's the next mark? There it is, up there. So I'm cutting to there. Is that really the next? Gosh, yeah. Okay. Feels like I'm really going nuts there. It feels really off. But I will trust myself for now. There's the next mark, because there's the end. That chalk mark is really starting to fade. Interesting. As I handle it. And again, I've given myself a good amount of allowance here. So I don't think that'll be a problem. And then this, there it is. So we're going to cut. And I'm going to check this again when I've cut it, just to make sure it's what I think it should be. These are not fabric scissors. They're just regular old scissors. They don't cut too great, because they don't cut this fabric too well. So that may be a thing I need to invest in. Okay. So, hey, Gorilla. Good to see you. All right. So this should be, yeah, that feels about right. Okay. So we've got basically, again, yep, like a foot of fabric. That's quite long. Okay. So I know where to start with this. There's definitely a nap here, so you can see there's some unpleasantness here, which means that this is going to be the inside. This is going to be, when I fold it out, this is going to be my surface, and this other side will be underneath in the pocket, because I don't want this on the outside. So that's good to know there. All right, now I need to do the same thing with the leather stuff. Do I? Can I just start on the pockets? What do they recommend? Dimensions you will need. Okay, yeah, now. Don't need that just yet. Instead, I can start cutting out the various pocket pieces. Okay, so next to do is to do, next is to do the center pocket. So basically it's going to be 3 strips around, and actually probably 4 strips around, I would assume. I'll check it real quick. And then another piece on top. So let me just see how they do that. This just shows 3. Oh, because I have to sew them on and then sew another piece. That makes sense, I think. Yeah, this is just 3 sides. And make the pockets in their flaps. Make the 5, finish them with one side, finish from the other side. Do the same with all 4 strips of the main pockets. The pockets and the flaps of the main sheet. Make a smaller pocket. Make the straps. So do they buckle straps, join? 1 second, and there the laptop zip. Fix the Velcro, finish the back. Huh. 1 second. Maybe the plan is, so maybe the zip just goes on that fourth edge. Perhaps. See, what it's showing here is that when you do, is that you're just doing 3 sides of the pocket. Apologies for the smears. So you just have 3 sides on the pocket, not the bottom. And we sew that on. So I'm going to assume that's correct. And let's see. So we need, so this is going to be, make sure that's 40 by 30 centimeters. That makes sense because it's 40 centimeters long and then 30, wide. All right. So we will be using a fair amount of this material. There's where we cut off. We know that's, so this is that edge we just cut off. And it keeps going. So let's go ahead and do, this is 30, down to there. So let's do another 40, and that'll be our next pocket. And this is where we'll be a little more careful. I will add some trim, but I'll probably trim it back. Or I'll add some extra space. Chalk. I put it back here. We have a whole other box of this stuff. I'd rather not open another piece of chalk. Did it roll somewhere? Don't see it anywhere. Okay. Interesting. Let's just pull out some more chalk. I can live with that. So this is, so there's that, and then we need an extra 20. I'm going to mark beyond that, because again, I want some extra space. Yeah, to there. And then that will go down from here in to, again, a little bit more. And I'll trim that down once I get some idea of what we're doing. I just want some rough guidelines here. There we go. There, and there's my mark. There it is. So we go a little further. A little further still, maybe. Oops. So I'm cutting through the bottom, and we cut up to that mark. Going a little further than the mark. Again, I can live with that because I'll be trimming this back. Okay. So there's the inner pocket for our laptop. So the laptop will go in here, basically. Then I'll trim this up in a second. And then we need these strips. So we need a strip that is, let's see here. Where's the, there it is. Might as well use this. So we need a strip that, 2 strips that are 30, and another strip that's 40. So I'm just going to take that, put that over here. So the other question is, when they say I want a 1-inch strip, does that mean 1 inch plus allowances? 1 inch long foam strip, 1 inch long foam strip. That can't be right. That must mean 1 inch wide. Yeah. Keeping both pieces inside out. Looks like more than 1 inch. Okay. As you can see, this is a very uneven line. So I'm going to give it an extra allowance here. Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to even it up. So I want this to be a little nicer. And so I'm going to, because I actually care at this point. Okay, that's more like it. Then we need, so I know I need an inch. One thing I've learned from doing like construction and wood and such is that you want to cut things kind of once, and then cut the next piece and then the next piece. In other words, you don't want to measure 10 pieces and then cut those, because you may be cutting more material off from each one. This is particularly true of wood, where you're actually cutting out, where the saw blade is actually destroying material as it cuts through, so you're actually losing a bit of material. So if you just measure by a mark and go mark by mark, it's a problematic thing. But with fabric, you have a little more, it's not that big of a deal, but still, you know, any issues can become worse the more you screw around with things. So I like to kind of cut very carefully. Okay, so that's a more or less 1 inch strip. Again, it's a little uneven, but I can even trim that up a little bit. And it's not going to matter actually, because I'm going to be sewing along these edges. Again, this seems, I'm going to make bigger strips, because I need to sew these edges, and it's not nearly enough. So I'm going to do 2 inches, so I have plenty of material on either side. So I have a 1/2 inch on either side, which feels about right. Okay, so glad I did that actually, because now that I've looked at it, and again, this is where if I'd measured a bunch of times, I would have all these wrong measurements. So there's that, and then okay. So let's cut that. And this goes down along these ways. Across. I feel like I'm not going down far enough. Okay, so there's the one side. That feels better. This is going to be the next side. So the other side of that pocket. This chalk just does not want to mark. Should be doing a nice, easy to see line there. Okay. Just doesn't want to. That's okay. We'll make it work. So we cut these strips. Another one. Now we need one that is 40 centimeters, not 30. And I'm here, so obviously we can't go that way. This is only 30. So do I cut down a strip that way, or do I cut a strip here? I think I'll cut a strip here. So I need, this is very uneven. So there's, well, actually, there, plus 10 is there. Again, giving an extra allowance. So we will do that. And we don't need an extra allowance on this end, I don't think, because they're all going to be right up next to each other. all of these pieces. That's what my intuition tells me. And this might be one of those things that I end up making like multiple times. I really don't like how uneven that is, but I think, okay, so if I just go from here, I think it'll be fine. So again, I want about 2 inches, a little over. More than 2 inches. If I can get some chalk down there, not too bad. A bit more there. And then, there we go. Come on. Lay down some chalk. All right. Can't even see that mark. Like I can see that there's something there, but there's no white. Interesting. All right. I think I know what I'm doing. Oh, it actually shows up really nicely on the camera, but it's hard to see here. All right. And then we just double check. Every twice cut once. That's plus. Plus 10. Yeah, with no lines. Good. So this will be our back piece, basically. I might actually sew up these pockets. Actually, it might be interesting for this to make it twice. Once to kind of get an idea of what it is, and then recognizing there's probably going to be a mess. All right, we'll see how much fabric I get and all that stuff. I can always get more fabric. Okay, so here we have. So here's the too thin piece that goes away. Here's one side. Here's the other side, and here's the back, basically. So that's going to be our pocket. And so just want us to sew that together. We know this is kind of uneven, so just for my own sake, I'm going to trim this so it doesn't drive me too crazy. Again, so when I'm sewing it, I'm going to be folding this under anyway and sewing it that way, but that'll just help me a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, my cuts are kind of uneven. No, they are uneven, but that should be enough for what I'm trying to do. Okay. This is the pocket. And then I sew everything onto it. So now I want to get a little more careful. So those are over there. Actually, I'm going to put these to one side very deliberately. And then where is, I think, is that it? Yeah. So there's my bag. There's the one side of the bag. And I think the right thing to do here, oh, there's the other chalk, like right in front of me. I think now I want to be a little more careful with the size of this. And I want to cut this sort of to size. And now let me check what I've got here on the plans. Just look at that again. So yeah, so basically, and this is going to be, well, this will be that thing. So if we imagine the pockets, so we're going to kind of flip this over so you can see where I'm going to sew the pockets. So this is now the inside of the bag, inside of the one side of the bag. If that makes sense. So I'm going to be sewing panels onto here. So imagine, so this is sort of the middle of the bag, and I'm kind of doing this for my own purposes too to plan all this out. So I'm going to be sewing a piece here, oops, and then a piece here. Pull that out a little bit. Right? So I'll be sewing those, and then these will get folded up and sewn onto this piece. I'll actually do that backwards. I'm going to have this piece. Let's figure this out again. So that's what I'm doing. So this is a pocket. That's the kind of gnarly inside. So this is the piece that when we lay it out, this is what will be the center of the of our experience. And so we're going to have, so if we imagine the inside of that pocket, we're going to have these pieces, one here, one here, whoops, one here, and one here, right? So they're going to be sewn along here. Imagine these folded up, and then these edges, these outside edges, folded over will be sewn to the other side of the bag, right? Hello, camera. Figure yourself out. Don't. There we go. So these are sewn here. Come on, camera. Come on. You were right there. There we go. So we have these pieces. We fold them over. Sew these to the inside, the other side of the bag, right? So when we're all done, we're all good to go. Yeah. And we don't need to sew. I mean, I might sew these corners together. We'll see. So I need to sew this first, and then sew it onto that. But before I do that, let's get our measurements more exact. I kind of like this lip here, actually, in a weird way. But I don't know if it's a good thing. So what I'm going to do now, before I go any further, is trim up these cuts. So it's a little less awful. Okay, it's a little more acceptable. Same thing here. And hopefully that will look a little nicer. Oh, yeah, that goes way out. Okay, good. So this is a much more rectangular piece now. It's a shame about that thing, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So yeah, so we sew these pieces onto that. Do we sew them? So we'll sew them like that. I see. Wait, what? 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 We sew them like. Interesting. So we actually sew them. Before stitching to stay in place. So they're actually sewing it this way and then folding it over with it stitched. That makes some sense. Okay, so we want to start with what we like. Is that right? We start it this way. Yeah, so we're going to start it on the nice side. Sew it to that. And then, because then when we flip it over, that's sewn there. No, we sew it like that. I see. So we sew it like this, and then we're going to fold that over like that. Okay, that's making some sense. This is obviously a bit too big. Let's measure again. This is supposed to be, so we're a bit too big. And again, we have this kind of interesting folded edge, which I might just end up sewing. So there's a little bit of a, this edge here, and again, I might just run a line down there to sew it. But point being, this is a little too big. So I'm going to trim off, and this I'm actually just going to eyeball. Well, no. This is actually, oh, see, I'm a bit off there, though, because there's a little bit of extra margin here, but I'm going to assume that's okay. Okay, and then same kind of thing here. Okay. This is definitely going to be a long project. Not something to complete tonight, I don't think. But let's go ahead and cut this to shape, to size. No. Shoot. Shoot. I need allowance. I screwed the pooch on this one. Yeah. Because I need to be able to sew this here and then fold it over. It's got to fold. Okay. So, this means A. Okay, yeah, that gives me some allowance there. This is... Alright, I just won't have, like, any allowance here. I'll have to sew it, like, right up to that. I could cut out a piece, but I'm not going to. I do have some options here. Okay. Ugh. And this is... oops. Okay, good. I have a good number. Okay, so... Alright. So I think what I'm going to do is, again, because this is the nice thing, and we put this on the nice thing, so we're going to sew nice togethers and then fold over. I'm going to do that, sew these together, basically, actually, here. Wait. And then that gets folded, no, like this, right. Like this. We sew along there, and then we'll fold it over. Okay. Gotcha. This is obviously too long. But let me get some sewing in. Let me get, a little bit more something working here, and then we'll go from there. All right. So this goes to one side. We grab the... Oops, this is our all-important main piece. Let's grab our sewing machine. See what happens here. So, it's going to be a lot easier. Well, so let me start on the other side. It's going to be easier for me to feed this through this way. Let's see if we have a better shot of this. It's a slightly better shot. What I might do... I can do this. Haha! Crazy, right? Okay, so I have this, and then I'm going to have this, which are going to be together. I'm going to put that in here. Oops, I'm going to raise my needle. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to lower my needle. It does go through. I'm going to make sure these are together. Alright. I suck at this. Here goes nothing. Is that doing anything? Is that doing anything at all? Are we actually sewing there? It appears not. What am I doing wrong? That's there. That should be around there. It should be in... around that and in... Oh, I need to do that. And then run this through here. And is there some trick to threading the needle? Needle is kind of bent, but that shouldn't stop it. That's not sewing. Okay. Hold on. Oopsie. I do have some instructions here. So we have all of that. We have that coming around here down to there. Then that comes up to that little thing. Hook behind it, so there's hook and coil, either one. Thread to the left of already threaded. Threaded. Then the light and dark. Yeah. Okay. then to something in dark parts, pull thread, wind twice into curly metal bits. Let's redo that. Okay, that's in there. Put down pressure foot and thread through needle left to oh. So literally thread through the needle. Where is the? There it is. Left to right. All right. Just hadn't threaded the needle. Well, that makes sense. There's the needle. And then this goes in here. The other thread goes in here. You pull those back. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey DS Lite. Good to see you. It's been a while. I'm actually making a laptop bag. So it's basically a bunch of panels on a large piece of fabric. So this is going to be one side of the bag. And I'm going to be sewing various sewing pockets along it. And it's going to be basically a 3-piece bag. So it'll be basically a pocket. It'll fold down like this. And then the other will fold down over like that. And it's sort of a 3-piece, bag with Velcro. And then a strap. That's the idea. And so I'm now trying to sew one of the pockets. Now that I figured out to actually thread the needle. Okay, so we feed this in here. There's a thing. Then we put the pressure foot down. And now, that's an important thing. There we go. It's sewing. Pull that up. Oh, wait. What happened? Something's weird. What happened? The thread came out. What's up with the... the thread got caught. Dang it. Okay. I'll have to redo that. Do I have a way of ensuring it's fairly durable? Nope. Wish I did. So this comes down through there. Around like that. Through the needle, left to right. She's off and on. Actually, I'm gonna. This thread's got some annoyances on it. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna make it as durable as I can. Where's the hole? Is that in? Looks like it's in. And we'll just catch it on the other side. There we go. Okay. So that is me playing around with the thing and having a problem. Okay, come on, camera. I'm just gonna have to set that camera manually, aren't I? Looks like it. Focus. Let's focus around. Let's focus around there. That's about right. Okay. So what do we got? Do we have any? Yeah, it sewed a little bit. We have just a little bit there. So let me just remove that. Like, it's not a terrible thing that there's a bit of sewing and some thread there, but it's not all we need. But yeah, so basically I'm just going to sew this. A lot of it is just how much you sew things and what the various ways of sewing are and such. There are different stitches you can do that are more or less strong. But I'm just going to build this and see what happens. And once I see kind of how it works or how it doesn't work, I can then work, adjust from there. So we put the push foot back down, we'll lock it in place, let's try this again. Try to make sure it's roughly even. Okay. Release the pressure foot. That is a seam. Cool. Imagine that. What's all caught? Not sure what's going on there. Maybe I did something wrong, but okay. So that's our first seam. Let's move this stud out of the way. Oh, yep, that's him up there. I have a white bobbin, so there's some white thread on the bottom, and then the black thread on the other side, which not intentional, it's just the way it turned out. I could switch that out, but I'm just not going to. So there's our first seam. So we're going to sort of fold it over. That should be that. So we're going to do the same thing now on the other side. Yeah, get that thread in there. So I need this piece. I'm going to sew that together that way, sew that together that way. And this time I need to go through this way. So this is there. This is, oops. This is there. And put that in there. Clamp the foot down. And again, I'm going to try to match the seam allowance. So I'm trying to make sure there's the same amount of fabric on this side at all times. If I do that, then it should be a pretty even seam. Okay. Goes through. This is coming along nicely. I do know I should go back and forth at the end of a seam. That would strengthen it. I just remember that. But okay. So there's that. There's that. Got off a bit more thread. I'm watching Space Dandy and Mad Lax. Mad Lax is interesting. What is easy to follow is Noir. Okay, fair enough. It does kind of make sense. And then we need to do the same thing here. So this is going to be the other side of that pocket. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut off. Do I need to? I don't need to. I'll just use it. So we sewed these here. So I need to sew this like this so that it will curl over. Okay. So I'm going to try to sew this. Oops. What's going on? Stay on there. So I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to try to sew this onto here. And sew it all the way down. And these should move. Alright, let's see what happens. Again, trying to keep these seams about right, about equal. Oh wow, that's interesting. Oops, hold on. So unfortunately, this comes right down to this edge without any overlap. So remember my mom's saying if you do this, okay. If you go back and forth a few times, it strengthens that stitch. So we did that. Oops. So there's that. And there should be some extras up here we cut off. Yeah. Good. Okay. So we have our beginnings of our pocket. Okay, and that should come over. So now let's work on the other bit. Now we're gonna actually do the other piece of the fabric. The no blood cork is not exclusive to noir. Very little blood in Mad Max. Interesting. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's because it's such a violent premise. They were like, well, if we just avoid, you know, if we then avoid any blood, then no one's going to complain. Don't know. All right. So we know there's a bunch of allowance on this. So I might just start this. Attach laptop compartment to back, keeping the seam allowance inside the pocket. Stitch the compartment to center of the other piece. All right. Is that sewn all the way around? Maybe. So this is the nice side, which means this is going to go on this side, which means this is going to go like this. So I'm just kind of trying to get this in my head. So I'm going to sew this onto here, and then sew that onto... How the heck do I do that? How the heck do I sew inside a pocket? I can sew this, and then can I actually like do that? Will it bunch up, or will it actually make any sense? Because I can at least do this. I can try to do the other one. While we're still mature. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you don't need blood to be mature by any stretch. All right, so I know we need to come over. Again, I want some allowance here. So we're going to come, this is 30 centimeters plus 7, which is exactly here. .37 centimeters. This is the inside of the bags. This is what we want to sew it to. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Is it on the inside or the outside? Huh, I just realized. Wait a minute. This is why I'm trying this. I'm going to look at the video here. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Cut that out. The pocket is raised. So the pocket is not within this piece. So basically this is going to get sewn onto the vinyl, right? What do we have the vinyl piece for? Why wouldn't you just have one big old piece of felt, or whatever your fabric is? There's going to be weird pockets? That's interesting. Well. Here's my mark. If it'll actually show up. Where is it? There we go. That's not very even, but 30 plus 7. What? Oh, because it's just that uneven. I'm gonna have to fix that. It's massively uneven. Like there's just no point in having really uneven line here on the end of the bag. So let's, okay. And that needs to be a little bit more evened up. That's not going to be true. So to rub that out, and then we'll go over 7. Again, it shows up really nicely on camera, but it's hard to see here. Okay, and then down here, here, oops, here, and then add 7. Yep, good. Kind of tearing up the fabric is the problem. Perhaps I need different chalk or something. I don't know. Different technique. Okay. We have our marks. So, what now? So that's where this pocket. So again, this is the. No. This is going to be the good side, which is what we want to sew this onto, because this is going to be attached to the vinyl. Let me check this again. So those are the suede pieces, suede. There's the pocket. This is the center of the foam piece. Those main pockets. Place the pockets right. Place the flaps for each pocket as well. Switch them along the length. Okay. Make this on the pocket. Switch on that line. Okay, then the straps. That's the triangle of the suede piece. Make the straps. Make the handle. Add the buckle, finish the straps, join the suede, stitch the gray and black suede together, keeping the seam allowance inside. Place the zip upside down on the side edge of the pocket and stitch. Turn the whole bag inside out to stitch the other side of the zip on the outer suede. Do top stitch to make stronger, do the same with all zips. Place the zip upside down on the edge of the side pocket and stitch. Turn the whole bag inside. Yeah, that makes sense, DS Lite. Each studio has its quirks. So, actually, yeah, it looks like we're going to sew all of this to the suede. So this is going to be one side. Basically, the suede is going to be sewed to this as one giant piece as a thing. So I need to flip this over. Because this is where we're going to sew the inside of that. All right. So, rethinking this is reasonably good. So we're going to redo this. So we need, again, 37 centimeters. I'm trying to do more metric measurements, just because metric's easier. In terms of, from a purely logical perspective. I'm not used to it, but that is a reality. Plus 7. So I figure if I force myself to use metric, things will just generally be easier. And I found that to be, more or less true. In almost all cases, if I stay metric, then just measurements are a lot easier because everything's just basic decimals. All right, so if I sew this onto here, like that, then I could sew this there, and then I don't know how I'm going to sew that because I'm going to have, it's going to be like this. Maybe it's possible though. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. This is why I'm doing this. Yeah, it's a very basic, simple fabric. It's a little thick. I wouldn't use it for a t-shirt. It's a little more like sweatshirt fabric, like a thin sweatshirt fabric. But that is the basic idea. It's certainly not like a, you know, oops, not like a blanket fabric or anything. Okay, so there's that. That is the right side. Okay, so that's there. It's going to eventually be like this. So I want this to be here. So I want this to be here. Okay. I hope this works. Okay. Lower the foot. I am very afraid. Especially because this seems quite uneven. So I have a little extra to work with there. This is that. As long as that's there, we should be good to go. And that's going to fold. Wait, no. Almost got this completely wrong. This sucked. This is the outside. So we're doing this one here. Right, because it's going to fold it that way. Okay, good. Almost had a heart attack. But I think we're going to get through it. That's there. That's there. So that needs to be there. Can we add a little extra? Like that. We want that to be there. So yeah, okay. So we start with that much. Ooh, this is weird. Definitely a head scratcher at times. Okay, so this is going to go here. That should give me the allowance I need. Then I match this up. I really should pin this, so it's exactly where it needs to be. That would be best, but I'm not really a pin person. I don't really have any. Do I have any pins here? I don't. And I have a couple of needles. That'll be another thing to get then. Okay. But we do. That's there. That's there. All right. Wish me luck. Oops. What's wrong? Hmm? What the? Okay. Okay. The needle's bent. Let me see if I can just fix it. Oh, good. There's enough. I just break it because I just broke it. Okay. Well, that's a problem. Just broke the needle. Yep. Let's pull that out. 2. Let's see. Pop this open. I see a little thing. Okay. And that comes out. I just popped out the needle. I see a needle here. I don't think I have any sewing machine needles. Nope. These are all needles. Okay. Does it matter? Yeah, it must matter. Yeah, because they have some special things. Let me just see what happens. Right, no. Because the design is completely different. Okay, whoops. I just drop a needle? I think I did. 1 second. Yeah. You rescue that needle. Oh, that's the broken needle. I thought I saw a needle fall. Well, I'll find it eventually. That'll be fun. All right, so that'll do it for this week, I guess. With a broken sewing machine needle, but then I'll learn how to fix that, I guess. Doesn't look hard. You just put it back in, and there's a little screw there. So next week I will be adding more. We're sewing this pocket on, and we'll see how it works to sew the pocket on. But if I get that pocket sewn on, then the other pocket should sew on pretty easily. And then once those are sewn on, I can attach other pieces, and we should be kind of on our way. We'll see. But we got some. We made some good progress. So we got. Let's remind ourselves where we are. You know, starting from nowhere. What's that? Okay. So we cut out our main bag piece, and we cut out the pieces for the main laptop pocket, and sewed on the edges for the pocket. So you know what that's going to look like. So basically, we have those three edges. Basically, those are going to fold down like that. Right, that's going to look pretty snazzy. So there's that edge. So we'll sew this other edge down here onto the actual bag. And so this will be the surface for our bag. I might actually. No, I think that'll be okay. I don't. When I pull out the laptop, it doesn't need to be, you know, on a perfectly flat surface. It can be a little. I mean, it'll be on a pocket, so that'll be fine. So we have our pocket ready to go, and we have this part of it ready to go. We have an idea of it measured out. I'm gonna have to obviously redo the chalk marks, so they just vanish immediately. So we'll sew that on. See how to sew that on. I mean, if I can't sew it on with a machine, I'm just gonna have to sew it manually, just literally needle and thread, and just in there. And then, like I said, once that's in, then I should be able to do the other pockets pretty straightforwardly. I mean, they'll take a little while, but it will make some sense. Again, let's just kind of make sure we understand what's going on there. Once all the pockets are on, then I'm basically going to cut out a piece of this vinyl in the same exact shape and sew it onto the back of this. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. Because it's going to have all these pockets on it. I don't know how to attach it. This basically just says, you know, sew the vinyl on, which seems difficult with all the pockets attached. Because you need, you know, flat seams together to sew together. And you've got a bunch of pockets on here. Like, how do you sew that? Unless I should sew that on first and then sew the other pockets onto the combined piece. Which isn't one of their instructions, but I don't see how else to do that. Let me just scroll down here, since I have a little time to think about this. Add the buckle, finish the straps, join. Stitch gray and the gray fabric and the black suede together, keeping the seam allowance inside. And it just shows the two pieces of fabric next to each other. That makes no sense. Then add the zip. Let me go back to the video. Well, I'll do a bit more research. See if I can figure out how this makes sense. I mean, it seems to me this could be it. right? This is basically the one side, and the wait a minute. Wait a minute. Nope, it isn't clear. So yeah, I'll have to do a little bit more experimentation. But this could actually like be a laptop bag. So this could be the one side with all the pockets on it, and we just fold that up and we're done. You know what I might do? I might just do that. And then, you know, if I can't figure out how to do the suede, then fine. And then later, if I figure out how to do that, I can just make a new bag. Right? I can just experiment and build that thing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. This is basically going to be a piece of fabric with pockets on it. And then they fold up and we'll add the Velcro and the zippers for everything. But I think that makes sense. This feels like it's not going to last too long. I mean, it's not a hugely strong material, but we'll see what happens. It's worth a try. I guess you'd fold these yeah, so that would be the way. Yeah, how would you finish off? Oh! So I fold these together and then, yeah. I gotta think about it. Unless the plan is for the... yeah, it's showing thing. I'm gonna take this also to my mom and ask her how she would assemble it, because she'll probably have an idea. So, home for anime pins or fabric badge, definitely. I would love to bling this up a little bit. Pins, probably not, just because if it's gonna fold out into a workspace, I don't want a pin underneath or something to, you know, bang against stuff. But like I said, fabric badge or something like that, or some kind of iron-on adhesive. There's got to be tons of iron-on stuff I can do. Maybe a spot here or there for a pin, but yep. Okay, so that was a pretty good experiment. We made some progress. I am in no way unhappy about that. And like I said, I will do a bit more research, and we'll see where we are next time. So next week will be another world-building video, and the week after that, we'll probably come back to this and make some progress, see how far we get. That is the plan. Yeah, I can always double down on fabric later. I'm sure there are other ways of doing it. And like I said, I think once I build the bag, I'll have a better idea of what it is and how it works. And so worst comes to worst, I can just build a second bag once I understand how it should all be structured. And make that one, you know, the permanent bag, so to speak. And I mean, this will still be a usable bag. It'll just be kind of the first, you know, the prototype, the EVA 1.0, so to speak. Yeah, I also analyze commercial laptop bags, tote bags. That's a good point. Look at the stitches. I know this sewing machine can do like 1 or 2 stitches beyond the normal one. Like it doesn't. A modern sewing machine can do like 12 different stitches. This can do like 3, just because it's a little older. But I think I do have some options there, so we'll see. And it would not be a bad thing to just make, you know, 3 or 4 of these and just experiment and evolve until I get kind of the ideal bag. But this will be kind of the first version. So thanks for being with us, DS Lite. Appreciate your feedback. Glad to hear that Madlax is of interest. It's a show I do want to watch one of these days. That'll be it for us for tonight. So thank you all very much, and until next week, make something.